like it goes in less than the ball squeezers.
Yeah. What? Welcome, CommanderSmiths.
We are the CommanderSmiths.
I'm Adam Smith.
And I'm Lowry Smith.
Don't worry.
We're cousins.
He is the CommanderSmith.
No. If we're going to do that, okay, fine. I got a song coming up then. I'll write it. If that's what you want.
You're the CommanderSmith.
I mean, not quite what I would be doing, but
Yeah.
I got an idea.
You got an idea. We're going to get some songs.
We're going to
back.
roll with this, huh?
All right, back with that. Well, this is episode 151, and songs are going to be coming back to this. No,
Woo!
I'm not.
Bacardi party right here.
Oh, what is that? Happy New Year!
Yeah, champagne.
Nice.
I don't know how we ended up with a bottle, but
Did you guys pop it on New Year's?
no, I was in bed by 9:30.
Oh, so we look like the awful parents because I sent a picture to the Discord and I was like, "Yep, my boys made it till midnight."
No, you're fine.
We started watching Willow and then that ended at 11:30 because my dad and stepmom were here and I was like, well, they aren't like exactly tired. Although Zeke was starting to fall asleep, but then he was awake by the time of the end of the movie. So I was like, all right, they can make it a half an hour. They made it to midnight and they still had a ton of energy, but we put them down and they went to bed. So it's a cool story.
Yeah, that's because like kids have that spot where like they're tired, then they break through it, and then they're like, "Hey, it's the second day at night."
Oh man, we kind of paid for it. The next day, Drake was a little ornery. Like that's where we were going sledding, and it's just everything was just so dramatic. I was like, all right, dude's a little tired right now. But then that night, they kept getting up, and in fact, here's the problem. So they built forts, which is awesome. Built little forts out in the lower
that is awesome
playroom area. Well, Drake wanted to sleep in it that night, and Zeke had passed out. He passed out at like 7:00 that night. So this is the New Year's Day. So Cindy's like, "Yeah, I guess it's as long as you go to bed, you're not getting any warnings." Oh yeah, no, I'll be good. So 4 times later, after him coming up and not going to bed, gets his last warning, his 4th last warning.
Yep.
I'm kind of doing when she told me that, I was like, oh, really? She's like, oh, you don't think I was like, no, this isn't going to work. She's like, well, just going to let him try. I was like, all right. So after that 4th warning, she's like, you're going to go back in your room if you get up again. He's like, okay. So he actually fell asleep. While we're going to bed, we watched movie or something, and we're going to bed at like midnight, I think it was. Zeke woke up from his going to bed at 7, and then he wanted to sleep in his little tent. So, so they both are down there sleeping in their tents, and then at 4:00 in the morning, Zeke comes up and goes, "Drakey got hurt. And I get up out of bed because this is already too many times getting up. I get down there. They're playing with the kitties downstairs, all awake, just hadn't gone to bed. We didn't even know they were still awake. I lost it. I was just like, all right, this is done. I'm like grabbing the forts because the forts are made out of their blankets, and I'm throwing it on their beds. Drake's losing his mind. He's just bawling, and Cindy's kind of giving me like the, "Daddy, settle down." I was just like,
calm down.
So yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. No, that sounds great.
Yeah. It was.
No, I that's when you said it, I was thinking the same thing you were. It's like, oh, that's not going to work.
This isn't going to work.
That's not how any of that works. That doesn't work until you're drunk and being able to pass out with each other. Otherwise, you're up until 2 a.m.
Even that's still being up until the sun comes up. I've had many nights where the sun was coming up, and I'm like, we should probably go to bed.
Who was the person that got pushed in the grocery cart and then fell on the sidewalk? Was that me pushing Jake?
Oh, I don't remember. It wasn't me. I wasn't in that.
Yeah, you were there. That was.
I wasn't in it. Yeah.
No, it was off Grand. I think I was pushing. I was either pushing Grant or Jake, and just hit a curb and whoo, not a curb, but a crack in the sidewalk. Yeah. No, my daughter is sick, and so I've been co-sleeping all week. Going to bed at like 8:30 to about 7:30 in the morning.
So okay, so this is the crazy thing. I just kind of think about with stuff, especially with us, quarantining and doing all that stuff. How did she get sick? Because you guys haven't been out, and it's like
Christmas.
You guys were out and about because
we went
to Sabine's place or
no? Well,
family?
I mean, it's just my wife's family.
Yeah.
So one of them must have been.
Gotcha. Okay, because Drake the other night had a stomach ache, and like to the point where if it was a normal year, I'd be like, he's gonna puke because he kept getting up and burping and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sitting there going to Cindy, I'm like, he couldn't have got it from anywhere. We haven't been anywhere, and so that was just
he had too much candy.
That's probably it. Yeah. But what's the sickness? What does she have? Just a
just
cold
super runny nose. I don't know if you did this with your kids at all, and I didn't do this with little Lowry when he was young enough. But did you ever do like the tube snot sucker?
Yeah, those don't work very well.
Like the tube thing where it's like
where
your mouth's
push
on the end? And no. The ball thing blows.
Yeah.
It sucks, but
it
those
blows.
don't work. They don't work. So what it is, it's like a thick pen thing that like creates a seal on the nostril.
Okay.
And then it's a tube into your mouth, and you suck it.
Oh, that doesn't sound.
You suck
no,
the
that's too
snot
dangerous.
Out. No. Like it goes in less than the ball squeezers.
Yeah, but what ball squeezer?
I don't know what to call them.
All right, 7 minutes in is my sounder. Thank you, Lowry.
But yeah, this goes in where it's just like creating a seal, which is what those
ball
squeezers are supposed to.
That sounds like too much of a risk. Like, so you're sucking through the tube.
Yeah, it works 100 times better. 100 times better.
What if you get one of those like a little booger that just shoots through the tube into your mouth?
They have a little foam filter at like 6 inches away, so none of that shit's gonna happen.
Okay,
also, it's like a foot and a half long. At least what we have.
The potential, if that foam filter wasn't there, that'd be scary for me.
She hates it, but you can like those little ball suckers. They
you like to squish?
They don't work because like you got to really get it up there, like on the boogers to like pull them out. This you're just like extracting it. Yeah, it's powerful, and when you see it, you're like, this is working. And afterwards, even though she's crying, like the snot is gone for half the night. And you don't have like you can see it, so like when it's clean, and instead of you can't see the ball squeezers, like you just gotta guess.
I know where the ball squeezers are. I'm looking at one right now.
I don't know what they're called. So yeah, I 100% back whatever they're called.
Not ball squeezers.
Not ball squeezers. Those suck.
Sucker bookers.
They're
booger
bad.
Suckers.
But is this like a who's on first bit? But yeah,
this
you want
going nowhere.
You want the nose hose sucker. That's what
nose hose sucker.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to call that one.
Not the ball sucker.
I 100% approve of that method of blowing a infant's nose. Because that's what it is. Like, it's trying to replace blowing their nose. They don't understand that. They can't, they're blowing bubbles with their snot when they're mad. And you're just like, God.
That's what stinks about being a kid is you don't get the benefits of, like, the adult stuff. Like, being able to take Tylenol, cold and sinus, or using, I don't know if you use Afrin stuff, the stuff you shoot up your nose or whatever. That stuff works miracles. But I used to I was very confused how that worked because I was like, is it like it's just a booger dissolver? Like it just immediately helps until I figured out that it actually gets rid of the swelling, and that's really the thing that causes your boogers to do its thing. So cool story.
So my wife heard me talking about this, texted me, and it is called the Frida baby snot sucker. So Frida. It's a Swedish or Norwegian.
Better.
Yeah. Nose hose sucker.
Nose hose sucker. Hose nose.
I think that's
sucker.
a technical term. That's what I would call it.
And the other one's the ball sucker.
Ball squeeze sucker.
Not to be confused with the girl from high school.
No women talk to me in high school, so you won't confuse. I won't confuse any of those. Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
I can hear it.
Oh, all right. So, I wanted
awful.
to mention one other fun story. So, you remember I was talking about the Channel Fireball deal?
Yeah.
And the Zendikar one was awesome, and Cindy's parents are getting it for me, and blah 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 blah. I posted this on Discord too. I don't know if
Yes, I did see that. Yeah.
So I guess it's a story for the audience. So I mentioned this before on the podcast. Well, it turns out that my wife's mom, Cindy, sent her the link and said, click this link and buy it, because it brought them right to Channel Fireball and brought them to the deal to buy it. And $200, you get all that other stuff and whatever. So they clicked on the link, saw the picture, and then went to Amazon and bought it for $200. So then they either got the one. I'm a little unclear of what happened here, but they
Wait,
either got
two?
the one. Yeah. Well,
I did not
on.
know that.
Hold on a second.
Okay, sorry.
They got the one, and then I think they were like, "Well, this isn't the right one." Or either something said that how they said it was one was delayed. So then they went back on there and tried to buy it again to try to get it sooner by somebody else. I don't know. So they bought two of them for $200 a piece, and we felt bad. And I had opened them, and once we figured it out, and I was like, "All right, we'll just write them a check for $200." So
Yeah.
I just basically, I would never buy that for $200 at this point. And so I didn't really get I got a Christmas present. I got 2 boxes. One I had to pay for, and then the other one I got. But yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
No, I missed that second part. That's funny.
So then it kind of stemmed a conversation on the Discord about never have anybody that doesn't play Magic buy you Magic stuff.
I was there for that, so I was just skipping over what you were writing.
Because you're like, I'll hear it on the cast anyways. That's what you were thinking, right? No.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I mean, each box got me, 2. Obviously, you get the 2 non-foils, but each of them did average the 2 foils expeditions in it. One, I got a foil Wooded Foothills. One was a foil. One was a crappy foil, and then I think I got a foil Strip Mine and a foil. Another fetch, I think, or no, it might have been a Battle Bond Land. I don't remember. One was really good. One was mediocre, and then 2 were lower. Like 2 were kind of bad for the foil ones. Made my money's worth though. I mean, each one was over $200 in value. So there's that. There's the silver lining, I guess.
Start selling.
Yeah. So, all right. So episode 151. What are we actually doing today? 13 minutes in here.
So we are going. Our main segment's going to be talking about playing League, BattleBox League on our Discord, and basically we opened up a box of Legends, and everybody built a deck out of that, their own box. We're gonna talk about our experiences, our opinions, as we're roughly midway through our Commander Legends season, and just with it
some
being our
pros
first
and
time,
cons, some things that we're gonna probably adjust. That's kind of the point of this too. Is this was our first one to do. And now that we've had it going, we're kind of like adjusting things as we go. We have our set stuff for right now, but in future leagues, because this has been fun. Like I've had a lot of fun with it. Played the most Magic I've ever played in a month span. But that'll be something that we talk about when we get into that. But yeah. So we're just going to kind of go over all of that. And then obviously, what else do we have? What's left?
One Spec to rule them all for War of the Spark.
Oh, that was tough, man. I sent you 4
A
of
list of
them,
5.
4 or 5. Yeah, 5 of them. I was like, I could pick any one of these. So I sent you 5, just being like, if you wanted to take any of these, like I didn't know what yours were going to be. I was like, I can take any of them and play with them. And
the one I would have chose from your list, neither of us chose.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, was it the one? Well, I'll talk about it later. But was it? Yeah, we'll get to that. I know which one it would have been. Is it a blue card?
I think so.
And it has to deal with the legend rule?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Then I know which one you're talking about. All right, cool. And then we have, obviously, Stump Lowry. Stump the Smith Savant.
Yeah, you got to say the whole thing. Nobody knows.
Stump the Smith Savant. Mr. Lowry Smith. All right, well, let's first get into, because we can get into that right away. Let's hit our tags. You guys can become a patron. $1 or more gets you into the Discord, which also can get you into any of the leagues that we do. $5 or more gets you Proxy of the Week. And the free way to support the show is to go to YouTube and just subscribe there. We do have videos now. Last week's was Hull Breacher. That was an interesting Proxy Time video. Kind of go through the whole process of that. I could have had that video done in about 5 minutes, but it would have been
I would have definitely had that video done in 5 minutes.
Because it was all I did was like I made it, full art, and then his arm over the text box, and then I was like, I don't know what else I want to bring out of this, and then 35 minutes later was actually the end of the video. So that was one of the longer ones, but it turned out pretty sweet and nice to have Hull Breacher. You got a Hull Breacher, right?
No, I did not.
You haven't got a Hull Breacher yet? Okay.
I got the opposition agent. I'm not touching anything until we maybe get our collector's boxes eventually.
Yeah. Oh.
Maybe.
Dragonfly, what did you do to us? It's just ridiculous. They're like, yeah, we're almost at your order. We'll see. I'm like, no, I wanted to know. Like, my question to them was, is there a chance that we're going to get these? Like, should I bail on this order, get refunded? They didn't even say yes or no or anything. They're like, this is what's happening. We're getting more of them. Hopefully we get close to your number. I'm like, fuck you. God damn it. All right. Anyways. Okay. YouTube. That's where you can see all that stuff. You can also check us out on Twitter. See Proxy of the Week. Not sharing with Adam. And did you do that today? This Monday?
Oh, curated card?
Yep.
No, I forgot to.
So a curated card is just picking up a random card that Lowry wants to see if people are playing with, right?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, just opinions, experiences. Because generally I'm picking cards that I like, but I don't play.
Yeah.
So just looking for opinions.
And then you guys can direct message us there or do it via email at CommanderSmiths. So that should do it for that. And then what?
They should make champagne bottles way smaller.
Are you already done?
No, I'm not done. I'd be slurring right now.
No, I mean like rough. Done with drinking the bottle.
No, I'm going to do it the whole time, and you will hear me going, ugh,
in the background. A lot of cutting to do.
Nope, you just leave it there. And people know that I am.
Well, when we poured the champagne on New Year's, Cindy polished off hers. And then I came upstairs, or put the boys to bed, came upstairs, and the bottle was all gone. And she's like, I really love champagne. Why don't we drink this more often?
Happy birthday to me.
Yeah, it is her birthday. That is also on New Year's.
See, so. I was thinking the same, but opposite. Like, thank God we only drink champagne one time a year.
Yeah, she was wanting to drink it more. I'm drinking Lambrusco, so I'm kind of in the same realm as you with the champagne. I'm just finishing off a half bottle.
We have another bottle. Open. We'll give you that one. We'll give Cindy that one.
Nice. All right, let's jump into Stump the Smith Savant. It's time for everyone's favorite game show, Stump the Smith Savant.
All right.
All right.
You said this one was going to be fun.
Yeah.
Does that mean it's going to be painful?
No, I think you'll be able to get some of these. All right. If you guys don't know how this game works, I read the flavor text of a card. Lowry takes that and tries to guess what the card is. I will give him clues eventually. Any clue that I give is minus 5 points to Lowry. He starts off with 100. And any wrong guess, Lowry can ask yes or no questions. Any no that I give him is considered a wrong guess, and that is minus 10 points. Last week, you had, I believe, out of 300 total points. Crap, I had this all up, and now I don't. Out of 300 total points, stalling. 100, you got 100, you got 95, and a 55. So we're at 240. That's not too bad.
That's not
right?
too bad. Yeah.
Or no, 250. I can add. That's not bad. Okay, so we'll see. We don't necessarily get to all three of them. If one takes longer, then we'll just stop at one. If it's at two, it's at two. So, all right, let's jump right into it. First one.
Okay.
Have you ever seen a world fall to its knees? Watch and learn. Obnixilis. Have you ever seen a world fall to its knees? Watch and learn. Obnixilis. Meaning Obnixilis is the one that said it. not watch and learn Obnixilis.
Watch and learn Obnixilis. So this is a Zendikar block. It's not the latest. It's not Battle for Zendikar. It might be Battle for Zendikar, or it's not Zendikar Rising. Could be Battle for Zendikar block, and it could be Zendikar. I want to say this is about Eldrazi. So is this like Eldrazi? It can be a tribal card or whatever.
Is that what you're asking? Is it Eldrazi?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All is dust?
No.
Okay. It's not going to be one of the big titans.
Have you ever seen a world fall to its knees? Watch and learn Obnixilis. Watch and learn. I did it. No,
Watch and learn Obnixilis.
Watch and learn Obnixilis.
Dash. So this is an Eldrazi card. Is it a creature card?
Yes.
Okay, that's, I mean, most of them. I mean, like, it's weird, but I want to say like Bane of Balaged, which it's it's not going to be that because it's not like played enough. Is it Bane of Balaged?
No.
Okay. I'll take a clue.
Okay. First clue. Card features an odd hindrance.
An odd hindrance. That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't even... Can you say that a different way?
Like how we were doing the hindering cards? It features an odd way to hinder people. Does that make sense?
Do you mean an even way to hinder people?
Maybe. I don't know what you want me to do there.
Well, you said an odd way, and if it's the even one, I just gotta think of that. You can't even. What is that one called? Is it 11 CMC?
No.
9 CMC?
Yes.
Okay. Its toughness is 11?
No.
Power's 11?
Yes.
Okay. So it's an 11-9.
It's yeah, you just don't know the name of the card.
Yeah, I just don't. I'm working my way. So opponents can't cast even spells and they can't block with even CMC creatures.
See, even if I give you the odd hindrance.
That was the giveaway.
Yeah, I know. I was like, damn, I should do a different clue because that was my first clue. Later, I get is in a surprising even 10,000 EDH rec decks. So you got what it is. You just don't know the name. It's a card, and these aren't hints. I'm just kind of, it is kind of hints, but I'm not taking points away. This card is spec'd on. Recently, Guy has played with this card.
Yeah.
I've seen it in play. Don't know how you know what it is. I can't describe the picture, and that's not going to help you.
No, because I have it in my head. Well, for the sake of time, like, I know what it is. It's tip of the tongue thing, which isn't. So,
if I gave you the initials, would it help? VW?
Void Winnower. There we go.
There you go.
Yeah. That's if I'm tip of the tongue and I'm going to give up, I think that's a good way of dealing with it.
Yep. All right. Good one. All right. The next card. Let's see. All right. One look at this glorious item convinced me that Kaladesh deserved my full attention. Sure enough, my time here is yielded exquisite fruit. Tezzeret.
Planar Portal.
Nope.
Then Paradox Engine.
Damn it.
Okay.
I go through all these freaking clues and then you get it off. Because I was like, is known as a broken card. Damn it. I had 5 clues. All these are like all unique little. I got to make this harder. I got to find a harder one. All right. Let's see you get the last one. All right. Her voice is damnation, unyielding and certain. Phage the untouchable. All these are quotes from something, which is kind of cool. Kiel. I didn't even notice it when I did it. Kiel.
Kwel. Kiel.
Yeah, Kiel.
Kiel.
Her voice is
Kewl.
damnation,
Yeah.
unyielding and certain. Phage the untouchable.
Phage. Who was saying that? Who? I'm just like, what is she saying that about? Because she's part of Corona, the false god. I mean, is it Avacyn, Angel of Hope?
No.
Or not Avacyn, Angel of Hope. God damn it. Achroma?
Nope.
That's what I meant. The first one doesn't count.
Oh,
I meant
okay.
I meant Achroma. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Who would Phage be saying that about?
Her voice is damnation, unyielding and certain. Phage the untouchable. Soundbed is going out, bringing it back in.
Is it a black card?
Yes.
CMC 3 colorless, 3 black?
No.
Okay. So it's a black card. Is it a creature?
Yes.
I can't.
You want a clue?
Yeah, give me a clue.
The card features a moon.
Now you're making me think that it was what I was saying, but that's... Does it tap to destroy a creature?
No.
Okay, so it's not that one. All right. It features a moon. Does it have flying?
No. Her voice is damnation, unyielding and certain. Phage the untouchable. So you have that. It's a black card.
And it's a creature.
It is a creature. I'm trying to think of anything else. What did you guess?
I have a really hard time thinking about who she would say that about. Because she is... It's not Phage the Untouchable, is it?
No. Yeah, I'll give you this, that a lot of the ones I won't, if it gives away something in the, like what the card is, I won't have it. If it says it in the flavor text, I won't do that one. Because there are a lot of them where it's like, blah, blah, blah says this, and that's the card. I'm like, okay, not using that one.
Yeah, I mean, she'd be super cocky if she was talking that way about herself.
Yeah. And in third person.
Yeah.
You want another clue?
Yeah, I'll take another clue.
Card also features a ghost-like woman in front of this moon.
In front of this moon. I'm assuming I can't get the set. I'd love to get the set. I can't.
The next clue will be dealing with what the card does, so that'll give a little bit more. I'm just trying to give you. There's been 2 printings of this. This is a freebie. 2 printings of this, and both have the same art, and it features the moon with this ghost-like figure.
Is it a rare?
In front of it. Yes.
From that era. Golly. Yeah, I'll take the next clue. I'm pretty blank on this.
Losing life and drawing is the main idea of this card.
Drawing cards and losing life. Wow. I okay, so it's a creature. I'm assuming it ETBs and then you lose a life or two and draw a card or two.
Rare black card, creature. Features a moon, features a ghost-like woman in front of this moon. Losing life and drawing cards is the main idea. The next one will be even more of a helpful clue.
This one I'm super blanking on.
I think this might trigger you on the next one.
Okay.
Let me give you that.
Yeah, hit me with it.
Most likely seen in tribal decks, specifically zombies.
Rare, black card, creature, moon lady.
Two printings. That was a clue, a freebie clue.
Yeah, drawing cards, losing life.
I think the problem is, and this is gonna be a freebie too, is this card hasn't been printed for a long time. So I've seen it recently because I've spec'd on it, but I don't think you necessarily play with this card. Either of us play with this card, actually, because we don't have Zombie Tribal. But anybody that's playing Zombie Tribal would play this card.
I mean, I've built Zombie Tribal decks. A big problem that I'm having is I can't like bring up what Phage the Untouchable is from. Like that block is pretty hazy for me.
Mm-hmm. You're doing all that drugs back then?
Yeah. Yeah. Bunch of Dorito dust. Is that an actual drug? I didn't mean that was I'm literal.
You're just talking about Doritos.
I don't know if yeah.
Ugh, do you know what that is?
It's wonderful.
I love that Dorito smell.
Jeez.
Okay, let me give you the last clue, and then I'm going to have to start giving you the sets and stuff. So
Yeah.
I've been trying to stay away from those because those are normally what you guess, and I say yes or no. So the last clue that I have, before we hit those, is the more zombies you have, the more cards and life you lose.
Oh, okay. No, I totally know what you're talking about. I did spec on this with you as well. This is from a cycle. This would be Graveborn Muse.
Good job.
Jesus.
Nice.
Jesus. Yeah, I don't think I've played with this card.
Nope, I haven't either. And I did have a zombie. I had a blue-black zombie deck, and I did not have this card. So
yeah. God darn it. That one was tough.
Yeah, and so if I would have given you Legions.
Yeah.
Legions is the first one, and then 10th edition was the next one.
Mm-hmm.
So if I was going to throw you off, I would have thrown you to 10th edition, which Legions would have given it away a little bit more. But would it have if I gave you that?
No, because I don't. I don't know that. Giving you hints to go back to, I don't know that small time frame very well.
Mm.
So, like, I know the before stuff, but, like, Odyssey, Legions, Torment, like, those I don't know very well, I would say.
So I am trying to do totally not random. Like I said, they're most likely going to be rare or used cards because I want you to actually have a chance. I don't want to pick, like, a common card that we never play with. Just have a quote from it.
It'd be way too tough.
Yeah. So, but that was hey, you hit Paradox Engine. On that one, I said the broken part, and I was gonna say Mono Rocks really take advantage of it. At its peak, the card was over 40 non-foil, and now can be bought under 5. When the card was spoiled, we only picked up one copy each because we both were like, "This is gonna get banned."
It's gonna get banned.
And you know how long it took to get that card banned?
Like 2 years? Year?
2.5 years.
2.5 years? That was
Two-
insane. We should have picked up some.
Yeah, exactly. If we would have spec'd on it, we could have gone. I think when it came out, it was if I was looking back, it was like $8 to $9, and we could have gone up to 40 at that one point. And then Void Winnower, basically got it right away once I did the odd thing, which because you had done so many good guesses in the beginning that you narrowed it down to Eldrazi, and then I was like, shit, this clue is going to just give it away. Because then it was color is not a factor, is a surprising even number of 10 or even 10,000 EDH rec decks. Eldrazi is the main feature. Casting and blocking is what is hindered. So, good job, Lowry.
No, good job on...
Totaled at 10, 20, 30, 40.
Not as good as last
50,
week.
60. You got 35 on the last one. 90 with Paradox Engine because you only made one wrong guess because you went Planner Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
How did you figure that one out so fast?
I figured it was one of the two. Because Tezzeret went there to find the portal.
Okay.
And so
you
like
actually like
the Planar
listen
Bridge
to the words and break it down. That's pretty good.
Yeah, because so what Tezzeret was kind of tasked to do was to find an invention that would allow planeswalking by not planeswalkers. And that's what the planar portal is. And that was the big thing that he was supposed to find. So that was my first guess. Second one would be the craziness that is.
That is Paradox Engine.
Yeah. So
yeah, I was impressed you got that. I will tell you that I try to use ones that have other names in it to throw you off, but that's actually a good way to break it down. It actually helps you because you're knowing that Tezzeret was doing that. I didn't know that because I don't have lore time with Larry. I like hearing the breakdown of how you come to it, though. That's why.
That's like the first good one that I have. Every other one's like, it just kind of comes to me. I've read that before.
Into you?
It comes,
Lucky.
I am so pregnant with Magic cards. It's ridiculous.
They're just bursting from all your holes. All right. This one. Box Topper! Hey, that kind of fits because it's Battle Box. It's Battle Box Topper.
Close enough.
All right. So we are a month and change into this bad boy.
Yeah.
Lowry just got his box like a week and 2 weeks ago.
No. It's 3 weeks maybe.
Is it? When did you get yours? I forget.
I don't know. The week or two before Christmas. It took like a month to get to me. So it was like the week before Christmas.
So that's what we kind of started off with. Especially with this and being COVID and everything, we waited. We had that first. We're doing them in seasons, so this might. We're going to try to interest people that aren't playing the Battle Box League and just kind of give you a feel if you want to join, not necessarily ours, but any Battle Box League, because it's kind of been a thing that's been popping up everywhere.
Yeah.
In fact, you can buy Battle Box kits. AJ was sending one earlier, or sent me one in private message saying, hey, we should do this. It's like 24 different packs. It's a Channel Fireball deal. They're trying to dump their stuff so much. So it's that same deal except doubled. And then you get 24 packs for $120. And it's all different.
Just random.
He's like, yeah. And he's like, we should do this. And I was like, that actually would be a lot of fun. A lot of randomness. You might get a lot of non-synergistic cards because you're opening from all these different sets. But it could be interesting to build. But anyway, so we jumped on board because it seems like fun because we open boxes and we do battle boxes, mainly when we're in person.
Yep.
And normally what happens is we open those boxes and take the cards we like, goes in my binder that are expensive, and then the rest just go into the collection or in the crap pile. This is actually making it so I'm using the cards, which is kind of fun, and building a deck. What are your first impressions of everything?
Well, I think I agree with you because that's what we used to do back in the day. Like we'd open up a box, make a deck out of like 8-10 packs, and then we'd play it for the night and then go home and disseminate
that was when we
it.
first started doing like the splitting the box, wasn't it? Like at your dad's house? And
yeah. I remember doing the packs for Rise of Eldrazi. And I remember Shay coming up to your place, and we'd open it up and
yep.
And so
did we do Commander there though? I think we just did 60 card, like a draft kind of.
It was like 40
format.
sealed. It was just a bigger sealed pool type thing.
Yeah.
So it was like using the cards that you are opening, probably the only time you're doing it, and then moving on. So I like that aspect, like you're opening cards. But I do like, I still have my deck there, even though we're playing on cockatrice, so that I know what I'm using, what I'm not, because I do need to be. And there are cards that I want to add into other decks, even though that's technically not important right now because of COVID times. But like, the negative for me is like, I don't get to tweak with the new cards that I have into any of my decks. And so like, I technically don't like that.
Yeah, but with that aspect, like you said, it's COVID.
Sure.
I haven't played in person with you for almost a year.
It's coming up on a year.
So
February,
you're putting your decks anyways, into cockatrice anyways, you know, and we've been playing. That'll be one of my things that I'll say when we get into the negative stuff is the league has taken over where I haven't played my normal commander decks.
Mm-hmm.
And mainly a lot of that was I was trying to get as many people in, and for, you know, the first couple weeks you didn't have yours. So I was the only one that was playing, and so I was trying to get tons of games in, and that was the only thing going on. We'll get to the end part where we kind of want to do our tweaks. So I just want to kind of talk about the pluses and minuses of it.
Yeah, and so like for me, like most of my time that I can do, because like tweaking decks that I have, even if I'm not going to play with them or enter them into cockatrice or whatever, that's still like super easy downtime for me when I have like 10 minutes when kids are napping. That's when I can play with decks or whatever, and then I can just leave them when the kids wake up or need me. You know, my computer's in the basement. I can't do that. So like it's a complication factor for me personally. But I do like it for multiple reasons. Because a big thing I think is like, if we're in a group like we are, opening up a box and making a deck out of it flattens the power level. Like you're not discussing, oh, what's your power level of a deck? What are you playing this time? It's just everybody pretty much has the same power level unless you got super fucking lucky and go turn 1 Lotus. Yeah. And then the second player also went turn 1 Lotus. And I'm talking about Zero and Jaw in my last game. So I didn't win that game. And that's okay.
That's okay. But, and I'm okay.
But the I think that's a really good thing where it just flattens down out the power of decks. Yeah.
No, I think that's a very good point, because I actually was just thinking about that today. One of my pluses with this is before we played the Battle Box League, we've been playing on cockatrice with patrons and us and friends and whatever. You know, I consider a lot of people that I've been playing with for almost a year now friends, because we've been playing with them so much. But there was only a handful of people that I'd play with on the regular. Then there was a couple that would randomly jump in. You know, there's a few of them that will jump in here and there when they have time, because everybody, you know, we have families and stuff like that. But since we've been doing the league, I've played with, so we have 19 people in the league, including ourselves. I've played with everybody once except for you. I was in with Jaw one. What did I say? I texted you that. No, I just played AJ last night. Okay. So AJ is out of it. So you and I think that might be it. I think you're the only person I haven't played.
I wouldn't worry about it. My deck's not very good.
Well, that's why I want to play you. No, I was kidding.
Get them easy points.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Last night was I felt like how do I want to say this? I was saying the meat or the village bicycle. You know, I was being fought over who was going to get to kill me. It was awful. Like people were saving me so that they could kill me on their turn. Like, cause what happened is I played that slime, that ooze goes crazy. And when it goes crazy, you become the immediate target. And, cause they just start multiplying and you can't stop them unless you get rid of the commander. And so what ended up happening is people are hitting me, and that Senjar vampire dude, the one that, so I had a 1-turn kill for anybody if it came to my turn, but then Zero played the Slaughter the Strong, so I could only choose one creature, and it was one of my oozes, and then the other 3 died, so then that ooze turned into a 1/1, and then he killed it with removal. So it was like, all right, this is sweet. But anyways, on my turn, I was going to board wipe by giving everything -4/-4. And my Senjar was going to turn into a 36/36 flying.
Woo!
And then I was going to kill a player and gain all their life because they were each at 35 and I was at 20. So anyways, that card was sweet. But anyway, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, I was like fresh meat. So AJ was going in for the kill. And I killed one of his creatures, and it got me perfect dead. And then Zero jumped in and was like, I killed that other one, so Adam survives. And then it came to Trombley's turn, and he had a haste guy that got me exactly dead. So they were all fighting to get the point on killing me. It was awesome.
It was awesome. So, but yeah, I think there's a different aspect that is interesting as well about, like, it's not about necessarily winning the game. It's about making sure you get a point or two in.
Which actually seems to make the game go faster. And all. I feel bad for Tyson because he's played in 2 of the longest games I've seen so far, over 3 hours, both of them. You were involved with one of them, I think.
Yep. Yeah.
But most of the games go really quick because people aren't just going, I'm just going to sit back and build my army. You know, it's people are getting people down. And then when people are down to the end of their life, it's more strategic, or I guess what I've done is, one, I try to make it even. So if it was a normal game, I might not kill somebody on that turn. Mm-hmm. But in this, I'm like, I have the capability of killing that person to get a point. Boom, they're out, you know?
Yeah.
The other thing is what I meant about even is, for player points and standings, I kind of judge that. I'm like, all right, is this person doing really well? If I can kill, if I have a choice between the two, who has more points? And I'm like, I'm going to give it to this person to get more points, you know? So I've kind of done that a little bit.
That's an interesting bit. But I think it also, like, it should be putting a target on whoever is on the top. Mm-hmm. You know, whoever's on the top leaderboard, you should be like, well, their deck is better, or they're playing this bit better, so they should be targeted. Right. And Lowry shouldn't be targeted just for being a CommanderSmith. I'm just pointing that out, Jaw. That's
just
because he hit me for 30-point swing because the Jessica Planeswalker tripling damage.
Oh man.
Oh boy, twice. But one was 21 points.
I saw the second one. I jumped on.
The first one was 30. Oh. It was just like, poof. It was brutal. I don't have anything that good.
Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, I feel bad. Lowry, if I was playing with you, I'd let you kill me.
No, it doesn't matter. Our points don't matter. I'll just take it. It's fine.
So I think another. I don't know if other people do this with their leagues, but I think another cool thing that we added is the tiebreaker thing. And that's something I took off of the idea of Magic Online with the leagues there. Tiebreakers are meant to, break the tie. But if you add a prize onto the end of that, more people play the tiebreaker stuff. I think the hard part right now is one of the troubles we're seeing is holidays. So the last 2 weeks, we just haven't had as many people playing because the holidays hit at the wrong time. So we had to extend a season. But honestly, the cool thing, and I'm not going to, we can do this down the road a little bit. We have the option of playing on Spell Table or Cockatrice. Everybody's been playing on Cockatrice. I think with this especially, I like that better because one, there's a lot of reasons that I like playing with cockatrice. But
Yeah,
one
baby.
thing is playing with cockatrice. But one of the main reasons is like being able to build multiple decks, because you have these cards, whereas if you're doing this on spell table, you have to have all those decks and just start interchanging them, because I am using a ton of cards, you know, the artifacts, the mono rocks, and all that stuff. The nice thing is just having this deck built and then be able to pick that one or pick to the next one. That's been really nice. And also, if you have a big enough monitor, the ease of seeing the gameplay is so nice on cockatrice, and knowing which way everything's going, making copies. And also keeping track of commander damage, because of the partners, has made commander damage insane, how many different commander damages are being dealt. So that's also a nice factor of cockatrice. But that's another episode down the road. We need to get maybe an expert at spell table on, or one of us become an expert and then decide.
So,
or we just make our opinions and we don't know anything about the other side, and that's what we go with, and we just say we're right.
Oh, that sounds like politics. All right.
I was hoping you got where I was going.
I might go with a couple of negatives here, but some of them can be positives. So there's definitely, even though it's like, okay, so it's fun to kind of play with new cards that you're getting, maybe that you'll never use again anyway. And so that's like fun and all, but at the same time, with everybody learning the new cards and how they interact, that does definitely slow down. Like you should be playing at a slower level.
Mm-hmm. Well, the power level
the power level is definitely
so
down too.
Yeah. So your games should in theory be longer, but they haven't been, is the thing. That's the weird thing. And I think what the difference is that there is board wipes, but there isn't as many as you have in a normal Commander game, because everybody has their whatever board wipes or whatever they have to control the board. And so you have bigger swings. I don't know. I get what you're saying. And I think when a game really lags down, it can really lag down, like the one that you were in with Tyson. But for the most part, I've had one game that went only 20 minutes long, which was insane because of fucking Jessica and Drago.
Yeah.
Turn 4 got John. Turn 5 or 6 got Seth, and then spent enough energy on them that I was able to pull the win off. But the game was just over. It was
super
crazy
quick.
How fast.
Yeah, I mean, the thing there is like, all I'm saying is like, if you don't like that specific deck has that interaction within their commanders, and you know what you want to do. Like with my deck, I feel like there isn't like a clear path. Mm-hmm. Even like there's a couple of different things that you can take from, like, so mine is more like +1/+1 counters, and then just making sure that I have, because I'm playing the Dragon Amaranth, and then just having more permanents rather than spells, try and be creature based, but it's such a broad deck that like my deck doesn't have a clear path, to whereas the red decks really seem to have a clear path.
I think what you're kind of getting at is your deck, doesn't have the enough Day of Dragon game enders.
But I would say in general, if it's not built into your commander, you're not going to have a lot of them. I
have 3 or 4.
What would you consider it?
So I have the dude that gives all my creatures 3/3 and trample at the beginning of combat, and then I can turn my lands into those.
I did not open that.
I got the one that's been crazy. So I've won multiple games with the elk, Dawnglade.
Okay.
8/8.
Yeah, I know that.
Gives all my stuff hexproof and Monarch.
Yeah.
I got the Cascade guy. That's how I won the other night, is I cascaded into Dawnglade, so I had a 10/10 and an 8/8 out. Okay. And then my fourth one is, and surprisingly, that vampire. I have won multiple games with that vampire.
Yeah, that vampire seems good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 6 swing. Any creature that dies, he gets 2 counters, and if people don't pay attention to him or deal with him, he can kill people on 1 swing. So I got 4 cards, and mine's elf themed. So the point of that deck is to play lands, lots of lands, draw lots of cards, and so eventually I get to those game winners. But I guess it just kind of, I can see where it's, and what you're saying is you don't really have that. It's kind of almost a luck of the draw too with that.
Yes.
Because you didn't get anything with that,
And
so that could be one of
I mean, it might be something that I have to go back to, but yeah, I think it feels more like you got to work with the cards that you get rather than the commander that you get.
Well, to give you an example of that exact point is I had told you that I wanted to work with Malcolm and the horse that gives 1/1 counters, and just to like attack with Malcolm, he gets bigger, kind of almost do a Voltron type deck. But I don't think that's really going to do anything. So the second deck I'm going to build here makes more sense is going Malcolm with the pirate giant dude. Because Malcolm's making counters, tokens, and it drops his CMC down, and also he's a pirate. It all works together. So, but then I also have Jessica in there, so she's in there as well. So I got some good game killers, or Day of Dragons. But that if you don't get any of those, it's hard to figure out
where to go with
a way to finish off the game. Yeah.
And so that's the other thing is like there's a lack of options for me. Again, sometimes like restrictions are nice because that kind of tells you a direction to build, and that's kind of what your box is doing. But at the same time, like when I look at my cards, I go through them and I go, there's nothing to add. And maybe that's me just not being good at card evaluation.
No, you're good at
but
it. Are you trying to do a different deck than what other people are doing?
Not on purpose. No, it's just I'm looking at my cards and going like, there's nothing more to add. Like these just don't fit in here, and I already feel like I'm playing some bad cards. Probably got 3 or 4 in there that I'm like, I don't like this at all. And so like it just feels like it's constrained and I can't do anything about it. And that's where it's nice because we're on season 2, so whenever I'm able to find 4 packs, I can open them up and they might create more options. But also from what I was seeing, people going like, I'll open these 4 packs, I got this 1 to add in. So I don't...
But that might also be from people that have... I don't think there's much more I could add to my elf deck. I think I got every single elf in the that was available. So that might be a thing too, but you might open, like you said, different commanders that will open up different
avenues,
alleys.
Because it does seem like there's enough legends here to give you flexibility, and so it's just like sometimes it's nice to be able to like. I do want to probably sit down and build another deck out of my box, but again, for me, I was able to get in the 2. I'm gonna try and play 1 a weekend, and so I'm getting in like 3 or 4 more games until the end. So it's just kind of like how much going back and forth, like how much effort do I want to be putting into this, even though this is something that I want to be doing because it is fun. And I
was gonna say the funny thing about it is I would have thought this would be right up your alley because of building decks. Like I would have thought this is like, especially with Commander Legends, because we're not going to be spoiled like this with the other sets. This has so many options, whereas I think the problem we're going to run into with other sets is we're going to go, everybody's going to have the same ones as their commanders, and we're just going to keep seeing the same ones. But that's one way to get around that, and we're going to talk about that later, is not in this episode, but like having options of other commanders that aren't in the set that people can choose from. So that's how you get away from that. But I still think you're going to start to see the same commanders over and over again. And partners are a big thing that make the options endless with this.
And so
that's why I thought this would have been right up your alley. But that also hit during the wrong time. You got your box late.
Yes.
You had Christmas come in and just,
I think that's part of it too, is like missing that first initial hype wave was a big bummer for me. And
Yeah.
so, like by the time I got the cards, it was like everybody had already played.
Everybody got their games and was doing tiebreaker games. And
there's a very big difference between people like you and Gwen that have played a ton of games and somebody like me where I'm just like, okay, I'm trying to get my last game in and learn my deck. Like I think there's a difference between learning your deck and knowing your deck. And there's a big difference between those games and playing. So
yeah, this kind of sucked with how everything got shipped out and what happened with where we ordered from and all that. That kind of like I got lucky because I had ordered also from eBay, and so mine showed up a week late, whereas the other one never showed up, where you just got refunds. But like I said, I got 13 games in a month, which is probably besides Guys Weekend is the most amount of Magic I've ever played. Most amount of
it's a bunch.
Let me take that back because when we used to play 60 card games, we probably played 20 some games a night because that's how fast the games were.
Yeah,
it was the most amount of Commander that I've played.
So I mean, all in all, I think it's a really fun thing, and if anybody out there has the opportunity, become a Discord member.
Good job. I like that.
I think that's something that you should be doing, or if it's just a group of friends. And you're all like, hey, we're all opening these boxes, and it's a good thing to be doing. It's fine over the internet. You don't have to get together like once a week. It's just like, hey, let's hop online. You're over here. If you have friends strewn across the countries because you played with them in college or whatever reason, I think this video online and Cockatrice and MTGO, I think great platforms to be hanging out with your buddies again.
Yep. One thing with what you said there, one of the negatives or hard part of this, especially with the listeners and the Discord members that we have, a lot of them have families and stuff like that, and a lot of them are all around the country. So getting that lined up, we have 19 people that are in it, which is a lot. But still trying to get all those people to line up with timings of what they're doing in their life and all that. That has been one of the hard things to do. One thing that we had talked about and you had suggested, and this isn't on air, but when we talked about it texting or talking, is having a set day and having that be the day that people play. Now people could go and play any other day, but the main day for everybody is this day each week. And I think that's a really good idea because then
just try and concentrate games into a day. And then
the thing is with that too, is then it leaves time for, if you still want to play more Magic, you can play with your other decks and it doesn't just have to always be league play,
How long do you think it should go? Having the discussion about how long it goes.
So ideally what I would like to do is if we had a set day and I was able to play more than one game a night, which, that varies. If we had a lot of people and it was coming in and out, I think if we start getting over the 20 number, 30 number, then you have enough people that there's enough games starting and going at different times and all that, and it'd be fine. If I was able to get multiple games in and we got our boxes, there was no problem with getting boxes. I think 2 weeks for each season and running it for 2 months is probably a long enough time. I think a month is too short.
Yeah, I think a month is too short. Yeah.
But I think 3 months definitely gets a little long.
Yeah. Because like I was saying, I think there is that like hype wave at the beginning. And right now, like we're just getting into Kaldheim and like I kind of want to pay attention to that. And and we're at that 2 month mark, only maybe even 1.5 by the time Kaldheim starts. So, we're in this funny part of where like Commander Legends came in midway in between standard sets. So that's something different as well. But I think 2 months is good. I think you're accurate on that.
Because you'll still get people at the end grinding for the prize. You're going to lose some of the people are just going to be like, well, I can't really get anything. Or just want to wait till the next season or whatever. But I think you're going to get still a big group of people that are fighting for the prizes that are there. So that was my negatives. start of the league is tough. Yeah, not everyone has their cards.
Yeah, but I think that's learning it too. So like, we're not going with this one company. A lot of us are buying through Channel Fireball this time, or your local gaming store that you go to. I think that's a good way of doing it, because you can, number 2 was doing it a week before everybody else because he picked it up during pre-release.
Where's the people to play with? He was all ready to go, and there was only like 3 people.
But like you get a little bit extra time to do it. I think that's a good thing too if you have a gaming store that you're working with. And so, with Channel Fireball or eBay that you trust, like you'll get your stuff on time and be able to go.
I think going forward with all this, I think we'll, like you said, go in 2-month intervals. We had COVID going on, and that's in that store and all that. You had some hiccups with that, but I think the 2-week intervals is good. I think how it'll go forward for me personally is that Cockatrice will be a lot of this league stuff for me. And then it depends on when we get in person. If everybody there is that in person, I might even play these decks in person for league, league play. But I think most of the time I'll be doing Cockatrice, and then in person would be just my normal decks.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's how I would do it. Oh, yeah. The other thing that was being brought up on Discord, but I think we've also talked about it, is like, I kind of want to build an Amrith deck, and other people want to kind of just build with the commanders that they have as well. I think that's a fun thing, because just to be like, I've played this, I wish I could do other things with it, like that the constraint is too much, and if you open it up, I think people would really like that too, but they might not have done it without the league part.
That's a really good point. Yeah, because I know at least one deck I want to build. I like my elf deck. It's good for the league. It's whatever, but it's not a deck that I want to have in real life. It's very straightforward. This is what my sealed package is. This is the best way that this can work, and I do the best this way. It's not something fun. It's like it just does this. Whereas the one that I'm building with the pirates seems pretty fun. There's some other combos, that seem definitely like a lot of fun to build with this, and having all these parts of it already, and like you said, adding some power, some good cards into it to make it more efficient, seems like a lot of fun. One thing I do want to jump on that you had mentioned about, I just remembered about kind of a con. There are cards that I got in it that I do want to. Let me take that back. I was gonna say want to sell. Like I have Vampiric Tutor, but I already have a Vampiric Tutor. So normally I would sell one. But where the prices are at right now, I actually probably wouldn't, because Vampiric is way down. But it's making me hold cards that I would probably normally sell until after we're done with this. And so that's one negative I would say with it. If there's things I want to move right away, it's like, well, I'm playing in the league, so
kind of half-ass need like proof that you got it beyond the few pictures that just get buried with everybody taking pictures anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, I would normally sell the newer one compared to my older one, because I have the exact Vampiric Tutor art. So I'm like, well, I want the older one, whatever. But I wouldn't sell it anyways because the price dropped. Not tanked, but it's half the price it used to be. Yeah. So that's a bad example, but it did make me think that, because right away I was like, oh, I already have one of these. I want to sell it. Oh, I guess here's the other part. I opened a scroll rack. I already have a scroll rack. So that one, I have to look at the pricing of that, but I'm not going to do anything until after we're done with the league. So I'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah, no, I mean, there are definitely cards that it restricts what you're getting, when you're getting it, and when normally if I get the box on time, I'm cracking. We can play it or whatever in that day, but the next day I'm trying to trade away cards that that I think are too expensive, and then I'm also trying to pick up cards that I think are cheap. And here this just doesn't give me any fluidity within my transactions. And so it's just kind of like, well, I'm holding it until the league is done so that I know what I'm looking at. I'm not entering them all into a database and then I can do whatever. They're sitting in a box, and then I can go and look at them. So I don't know if there's a better way to manage that.
Yeah, and that's what the point of us when we used to get our boxes and do the battle boxes is the ones that we thought were at the top and are going to come down. I would try to move on eBay as fast as possible and then rebuy them later when the prices came down. Although a lot of times lately what would happen is like, well, I really like this card. I know it's going to tank and I could buy it for cheaper, but I just don't want to go through the effort of doing
There's that too.
But it is taking that option away. I think the only way you could do it is that if we did it via picture, and if I sold it after that, people just saw the original picture. But then you could only play it on Cockatrice. You couldn't play it in person because you no longer have that card.
And Yep. So it was just that's a little thing.
More of a personal thing that we deal with. It's our personal part of it, where it's probably not a majority of the population or our listeners, and most of them are like, "Why are you fucking complaining?"
I think it's really fun. So I think it's a good thing to be doing, and we are learning as we're going along, and I think it's simpler with a smaller group or just a group of friends that knows each other as well. Like Guy that has
his little group that he does it with too. Yeah.
So I think we learned a lot from him because he had done it a time or two before this as well, or at least had a better plan than us. Because clearly we're big planners.
Yeah.
I mean, you are. You're a lot better at that than me.
Can I jump on one more thing before we wrap this up with this and move on to one spec? I want to piggyback on, I think, one of that I never finished my sentence. I don't know. I did an Adam or whatever thing where I just trailed off and went to another thing. But when you had mentioned that it evens the power level out pretty well, I think that's a really great thing when you're playing with a bunch of different people and how they build decks. I think that's where I was getting on my point before, as I was saying that I was always playing with we had our same group of people we've been playing with on Cockatrice, and some people jump in here and there. So my point was, this, I feel like, gets everybody, they don't have to worry about if they don't have dual lands or they don't have the shock lands or the fetch lands or whatever. Everybody they open boxes. Everybody's on the same playing field, and anybody has a chance to win. It doesn't feel like there's this one person that just plays these certain cards and is always comboing off or is infinite this and this and this and that. You just have everybody on the same field. And so I feel like that's why I've been liking the games, because that's one thing I really, really like about going to pre-releases is opening those, building a deck, and everybody, some people get really lucky and get really good cards, but the times that I have won those, I've had the shittiest cards, the shittiest rares and mythics. I get probably $5 worth of cards in there, but because, building your deck right or whatever, it ends up doing well. And so that's what I really like about this, is that I feel like anybody could win any game. And it seems like it's a lot more fun. And I think that's why we have a lot more people that are playing more. Like I said, there was normally 7 of us that were playing before that. Now we have 19 that have jumped on in here and there to play. So I think it's really sweet. I like the way it is. It's a different style. I think this takes my missing playing pre-releases away. I'm like, hey, I'd actually rather play this than do a pre-release. I'll still do pre-releases. Don't get me wrong when those come back, but we haven't done those for so long that this is kind of taking that place. And I like it that it's commander based. Pre-releases is 40 cards of.
Well, and they absolutely should be doing this at Magic Fests.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It should be entry fee. You get a box and those promo cards and
build a deck.
This is what you get to do.
Yeah.
So I think that should be happening.
That could be a really good way to do tournament stuff. You know?
And it doesn't have, nothing legitimate or whatever either, but it could be.
No.
But yeah, I think that's because that's been the biggest complaint that I see from Magic Fest or just bigger groups is just like people, we've had the discussion, everybody's had the goddamn discussion about power level of decks and how to rate it, how do you rate it and stuff like that. And people are all over the place because it's based on perspective. But if everybody's opening a box, it's going to be relatively similar. It's going to be a lot less of a gap and it's more based on ability to build a deck and like analyze cards and your ability to play. Those will be the two factors.
You might have stumbled into something here, which might make this go longer. Always want to go longer, but could this be a new? I mean, it is relatively new, but could this be a new thing? Like you're saying, an actual thing that they start using at Magic Fest that is an actual way to get Commander. I don't know. It's not going to be like your modern tournaments or whatever, but what if it becomes the thing? You know, like Commander became a thing. It didn't exist before. You know, there was just people playing for fun, and then it became a thing. Could this become Commander's way of being in tournaments instead of doing 1v1? You know, big mass multiplayer, how Commander's supposed to be played, tournaments. And they figure out a point system of wins and, you know, kind of how we're doing our stuff.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it could be. I mean,
I think the problem with it is you have the games that go 3 hours long.
Yeah.
And so how do you do a tournament when you have a game that goes an hour and then you have a game that goes 3 hours?
Have it be online.
Have to be shorter. Yeah, shorter. Yeah, that's a good point. Arena.
No. That costs so much.
I guess it didn't go as long as I wanted it.
I'm sorry, I wasn't very insightful on that one. I'm not big on
no discussion.
I'm not big on turning Commander into a tournament style format.
But I think that's not a big thing, but don't you think that's a thing that people are wanting to figure out? Like game stores, how do they make money off of Commander players? Because they're a big driver. How do you get them in the stores? Could this be the way to do like mini tournaments at stores?
And you're selling
but
boxes.
Again, those 3 hour
and
games.
Making a deck out of a box, like it takes 30 to 45 minutes just to open the packs and like analyze what cards you even have versus like.
Yeah, you might be right. It might be just more of an online how we're doing it, you know, with the Discord or whatever type things.
Unless you have like a big tournament, I can see that working, and just like it's a 2-day event, everybody's doing their thing. But for a store that you only get to be there for a couple of hours, like it's like, do you give everybody an hour to build a deck and open the box, and then you get 2 games? That's like a full fucking day. Am I getting my 8-hour pay there, or that's a big day. Maybe
what you do is what if you're talking about the big tournament ones, though, let's forget about the stores. I think you're right. That's kind of hard to do that with the stores. But like the Magic Fests or something, where they're normally, aren't they 3 days or are they 2 days normally long?
Yeah,
I've never been to one, so I don't know.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday when it comes to like standard stuff.
So you run the first 2 days as full days. You know, open the boxes. You get a few games in that first day. The main day is the second day, and then the top 8 play the last day, you know, the top 8 in points. I don't know. It could be interesting. I mean, this is a newer thing. Didn't start hearing about it until this fall, right? I mean, that's about when we are starting to hear about.
Yeah. It definitely wasn't before. Like, it wasn't in the summer. I didn't hear anything about that. It was mostly from Shivam that I was hearing stuff from. So I think this could be interesting. What if we're looking back at this and be like, remember when we talked about it and now it's a thing? That's what we only play. Oh, man. I don't know if I'd like that.
Yeah, I know.
If this was...
Then our duels are pointless. What the hell? Maybe that's how people that really hate not having duels get away from reserve lists and stuff, is they're like, this is the thing now. Commander's old news. It's battle box leagues where only standard stuff matters.
I mean, I'm sure everybody that makes standard sets would be super fucking psyched. Everybody that sells cards, like game shops, everybody would be super fucking psyched if this was the thing from now on.
Yeah. All right. I think we've talked enough. The people that aren't playing battle box stuff.
Yeah, that was like 40 minutes.
Like, can you guys like move on? Well, we had a couple interruptions, a couple kitties and a kid and
kitty.
All my fault. All right, let's get into our last segment.
One
Spec.
to rule them all.
I thought I played the wrong one again.
enjoyed it.
The longer
You can do
one.
the other one. Just repress it.
In the common tongue, it says one
Spec.
to rule them all, one
Spec.
to find them, one
Spec.
to bring them all, and in the darkness find them.
I should have at the end there just go Spec.
Spec.
After it's all done, just Spec.
I just can't wait until Disney buys the rights to Lord of the Rings. So,
Why do you say
I mean, it'll be a lot nicer. It'll be brighter. Because they buy everything. Buying everything.
that? Are you saying that they'll buy it and then redo it? You can't redo it.
They absolutely will if they buy it.
No. Blasphemy. Don't do it. All right. So we are doing one spec this week. We are picking one card from a set. And that is the card that we think has, if we were to put all the money, all your paychecks, every chip in on this card, has the best opportunity to get you some money back. This week, what set are we doing, Lau?
I'm yawning. Where the spark?
Or the Spark. So, right off the bat, my first problem with this is there was too many. There's
a lot of good cards.
Too many. Because when we did these specs not too long ago, and that was a lot of cards we went through. Wasn't it rotating cards, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was. So, all right. I started last week. Why don't we start with your one spec?
Okay, so I'm going to go with, I'm pretty sure I picked this as well, one or the other that you wanted. So I'm going to go with Command the Dreadhorde, pre-release foil. It's right around $3. That's with shipping included in it. It's 4 colorless, 2 black, sorcery, and then you can choose creatures to bring back from anybody's graveyard and take damage for the CMC. So it's like a giant reanimate / a Rise of the Dark Realms, and it's kind of a sweet spot in my mind, right? Reanimate's a $10 to $20 card, depending on how often they're reprinting it at the time. And Rise of the Dark Realms is a $20 card currently. And Command the Dreadhorde is, like I said, 3. It's 50 cents or less on TCG for non-foil. I see the non-foil being at least a $5 card, being a budget one, but it's a big swing. If you can pay, 10, 15, 20 life mid to late game, I think that's a big swing. And getting the pre-release foils, I see that being over a $10 card. I don't know how long, because it sure doesn't seem like it's catching on at all, and it's very surprising to me.
Almost 7,400.
That's
EDH
quite a bit.
Decks. Yeah. Like you said, this is the budget way of doing Command the Dread or
Rise of the Dark
Realms. The only problem is that damage is the only.
Yeah.
I think that's the down part of it. But if you, like you said, normally when you're taking everybody's stuff from their graveyard, like Rise of the Dark Realms, you don't care about 70% of those cards. It's just you have all of them out and should win the game with it. There's really only probably like 2 or 3 cards that are like, these are key to have out. And this is that way to get that for cheaper. It's only 6. You can cast this earlier in the game. May have a better chance of winning the game at an early instead of late at the game when everything kind of ends. The big
it's
swings.
Not
anyways.
everything. It's whatever
earlier.
you choose. So
so it's not.
If you have an
yourself.
anger in your graveyard, you don't have to bring that back, and then all your creatures have haste. With Rise of the Dark Realms, I'm not saying Rise is bad at all by any means, but that would take away the haste to all your creatures because you have to bring everything back.
Oh, darn it. I got to bring everybody's creatures back.
What a bummer. But
and take no
I'm
damage?
just saying it's worth more than what it's at. And
it's nice to be picking and choosing. This is a strong card from a set that is amazing. It had a lot of amazing cards in
I think it's being highly overlooked. That's probably why my pick is, because I think it's just one of those buried gems that's played in over 7,000 decks. I'm just surprised that the price isn't higher. That's kind of what I'm saying. Is I think the the gap of where it should be or will end up is bigger. So again, I see making
I'll
$5
give
to
you
$10.
The Rise of the Dark Realms is in less decks. It's in 6,600. So people are using this more. I think you're onto something though, and I definitely would stick with the foils because I could see that being maybe in a commander deck. I don't know. Yeah, I could maybe make it in a commander deck, a pre-con at some point. But yeah,
if it stays cheap,
yeah, I definitely could see that popping up. It is a rare, so it doesn't have that mythic. It's not as rare as mythic, but yeah, no, I definitely agree. The non-foils should be over 5, and foils should for sure be over 10, if not higher, within a couple of years. We just rotated this out, so.
Yeah. So I think it'll take a little bit of time, and again, there's a ton of really, really good cards in War of the Spark, and so
there's so many. You could just spec on War of the Spark and be fine.
I think you're gonna be
one
okay.
Spec. If I were to pick one spec for a set, it would probably be War of the Spark. Just pick that set up, for the price that it's at right now.
What did you buy more of, Modern Horizons or War of the Spark?
Modern Horizons. Dude, they're gonna get
they
there.
Are. Your Ultimate Masters ones are starting to really pop up at this point.
Yep. I'm getting low inventory of that. Been selling those, and I just started selling some Modern Horizons stuff. And side note of all this, the Force of Negation, it's at 50 now. And I think we talked about it before when it came out. We thought it could reach 70, 80, if not higher than that. And so I've kind of waiting until it hits that 70 mark before I start moving. I think I have 15 or 20 of them, so I'm just kind of sitting there waiting.
Do you think it has the potential for a reprint in Modern Horizons 2?
That is a question.
I did put a question mark at the end of that sentence.
You did put a question.
I mean, that's something that I would speculate on, because maybe because I think Force of Vigor would be something worth reprinting, but the red, black, and white ones, if you retool those into better cards, I think could be fun.
They shit the bed on those.
The black ones at least okay.
It's
but
okay.
The white and the red ones are awful.
Yeah, and why do you make the blue one just redonkulous and the green one's good? The green one, Vigor, is really good. Yeah. Anyways, that might be something to look at down the road. I guess when we start getting more details, because we got details of Modern Horizons, knowing that they were all new cards to Modern. They're probably not going to do that this time
because they're doing fetches.
Yeah. So
and all fetches are. You brought that up.
Yeah.
It blew my mind. I was like, what? What are they doing?
You brought that up.
It was not. I wasn't. My mind wasn't blown because you brought it up. It was just.
It's like, whoa, Adam's one savant moment. It had nothing.
It really sticks in my head.
It's one of those a year.
No, it was just like, no, you're totally right. What are they doing? Because I liked that aspect of new cards and bringing in non-modern cards, and when they're printing the fetches in there, you're going like, okay, something different is happening now. So
unless the fetches are like because
box topper,
they weren't doing
box
they weren't doing these special
box topper.
They weren't doing these collector boosters then, so maybe that could be something that's just in that, and that's the way that you get those. Although they did say they were going to be in a rare slot, so
I don't know.
When we get close to that, that's actually a good point to look into Force and Negation, maybe starting to move those. But the problem is if it doesn't get in there, they will skyrocket. If they do not see a reprint in Modern Horizons. So it's like, maybe I sell a couple of them and then just wait. Or maybe I just keep holding that. If they get reprinted, the card will eventually maybe get there.
Yeah, that's probably the way I would think about it, because it's not going to go away. It's not going to turn into a $5 card. It might drop down to 20 and then regain its. So circle back. What is your one spec for War of the Spark?
All right. So there was a couple I had on my list. I'll name some of the ones. So was the one that you were talking about was Narset?
Yeah.
An Narset part of Veils. So Narset, I've actually picked up a bunch of those non-foils for $1. Those, easy pickups. Ugin was one I had in there. Now the three that I started breaking down the numbers, and each one I went to had better and better numbers. I started with Spark Double, and that had about 16,000 EDH Rec decks. And then I went to Karn's Bastion, and that was in 20,000. And then I settled on Bolus's Citadel, and that is in 24,000 EDH Rec decks currently. Yeah, isn't that freaking insane? 24,000. I wouldn't have thought it would be in that many. But I am focused on there's some interesting things with this one. First off, the card, what it does, just in case you don't know, it's 3 black and 3 colors, legendary artifact. You can look at the top card of your library at any time. You may play the top card of your library if you cast a spell this way, pay life to its converted mana cost rather than pay its mana. So you don't even have to spend mana, you just pay your life. And then the other part is sacrifice 10 non-land permanents. Each opponent loses 10 life. That's not the main part, it's the other part that's crazy. So a couple things with this. One, it got featured on Command Zone at one point, and it has already gone up to a $17 card for the foils, and now is back down to $4.
For foil?
I'm more for foil.
Oh.
Foils are $4. You can pick up the Planeswalker Stamp foil ones, which aren't from War of the Spark. It's from those other sets, but yep. Or you can do the alt art foil, which were the pre-release ones, but they have different art completely. Like it has the, I think it's a side view of...
Yeah, a little closer up.
So those, I picked these up a while back, and so my numbers are really cheap on these because I picked them up.
They were like under $2, aren't they? Weren't they?
Yeah.
When you did it?
I picked up about 20 of them from somebody that had them were cut from the sheets that we all got, and they turned out perfect. Like I have it marked that these are gonna, like when I go to sell them at some point, when I sell them, I'm gonna say these are from a cut sheet so people know. But still, you can get these for $4, $4.50 for the alternate art, which actually used to be the cheapest one. It has already hit 17. That's because it was showcased on Command Zone, but price memorization and the fact that it's used so much, and we just rotated this out. This card is pretty crazy. I saw AJ go nuts with this one. You can really go off with this if you don't have some high casting cost stuff. You can just start playing
this with
everything off the top
like Aetherflux Reservoir just in general is good, but then AJ comboed it with Sensei's Divining Top and just put it back on top of his library, paid 1 life, and then gained 2, and then gain 3, gain 4, gain 5, lose 1, lose 1, lose 1. Like, that's bonks. Yeah. That's good. That's a good little setup.
Yeah. So it's a pretty sick card. I was very, very surprised that it had 24,000. Like, I wanted to pick this from the beginning when I sent you my list, but I was like, it's only going to be in like 4,000 or 5,000 decks. And then when I got to it, I was like, 24,000.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Okay.
That really is a lot.
This can be my pick.
You're talking like Dictate of Erebos, which is a $6, $7 card. That's in under 20,000. It's over 15,000, but under 20. And that's, Grave Pack style cards. That's $20. Like those are the style of cards you're talking about where are over, it's, roughly over $10.
And to give you another part to this is, the non-foils are at $4. So you're at the same price, foil and non-foil right now.
Yeah.
Pick up the foils.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
So, all right. And, last little note. Just check eBay here and there because that's how I got the non-factory cut cards. And that I got them for $250. I just forgot that's the note I had. $250 a piece. They might not get to that again. That might have been, it was right after
that was a while ago.
It came out and people were cutting their cards up and trying
to a year ago, last
move them
fall.
and everything. Yeah.
I mean, I guess most people got it midsummer, but I got mine last fall.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you got a toothbrush.
No, I got part of a toothbrush.
You don't have it
anymore. Didn't even get the good part.
Number 2
I know.
has that one,
I
right?
mean, I'd be a lot happier if I got the side that vibrated.
All right. Well, that should do it for this week. We will catch you guys next week.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.